Hey, what is going on, everybody? It's Jamie, and welcome to the channel, Thrift on Fire. Today I'm going to give you 10 items that sold for me recently on eBay. We're going to revisit the fail of the week, the find of the week, but before we do that, let's get into some eBay topics. eBay recently stated in an email that they may, keep that in mind, this is just a may, not a will, make changes to their shipping policy. Now, the big change here would be them giving you the shipping label. So it would take away your ability to buy the shipping label. Now, from my understanding, is stuff like this already happens in the UK. I went into more detail talking about this on Reseller Evolution last week. I was a guest over there. If you want to check out that episode, I'll try to link it down below. But essentially, I don't think this is such a scary or bad thing. In most cases, I believe if they do it a lot like they rolled it out in the UK, a business or somebody who's an experienced seller may be able to still, be in control of their own shipping. But somebody new might just get the shipping label, much like Poshmark. But you know what? Even as a seasoned eBay seller, in a lot of cases, I wouldn't mind just getting the shipping label. Something where if you're shipping it from like Ontario to like Vancouver, something like that, like way in BC, maybe even like Winnipeg, or maybe even like the East Coast, it would be a flat rate no matter what for you. And I think that would be pretty fair. I would assume they would charge the buyer a flat rate, much like they do on Poshmark, but I guess we wouldn't really know until that all happens. Like I said, this is a may happen. I don't think it's that scary in my opinion. I think it's probably a good thing unless you're the type of person who's trying to make extra money on shipping, which you can. If you do it the right way and you use the right processes, you can definitely make money on the shipping side. You see me, the way I do it with flat rates, I sometimes make money, sometimes lose money, but it is definitely possible to make money if you do it smartly. So is it scary? No. Let's start a conversation down in the comments about this. Do you think it's a good or a bad thing? Keeping on the topic of shipping, Poshmark recently also rolled out a second shipping option. Now, they had this as an option before when we were kind of dealing with the Canada Post strikes on and off, last year and the year before. And I feel like the year before that, it was an ongoing thing with Canada Post and that negotiating this new contract. But they had worked with Purolator before. Now they're working with Purolator again, and you can get $6.99 shipping on basic orders. Now, the big difference here is it is not home delivery, okay? I think Poshmark charges something like $12.99 for a Canada Post label. I could be off on that number. I'll try to fact check it and throw it up on the screen, but I think that's what Poshmark Canada charges. I don't buy a lot of things on Poshmark, so, I don't really look at how much they're charging, but I do know it's $6.99 for the Purolator label. You have to opt in and say that you want to do it as a seller, and then I believe somebody has to pick it as an option anyway. The deal here is you have to, not you just drop it off like you normally would at a Purolator. For me, it's Staples is where I drop off Purolator items, but the person on the receiving end has to pick it up at their local Purolator pickup station. For me, that would likely be the same place, Staples, and for you might be a variety store, or maybe you have a Purolator like a physical location in your area. I don't know, but for me, I would have to go to Staples to pick up an item. But you know what? For $6.99, that saves you some money, and it's a good shipping option for people. Leave that in the comments below as well if you want to talk about Poshmark's new updated shipping. I think it's really good. If you can ship a t-shirt or a smaller item or just like a regular item for $6.99, that's a pretty good deal in my books. The last thing I want to touch on is AI tools. Now, whether it's, I just did an interview with Christopher Taylor, founder of FlowLister. Whether it's that in particular, whether it's, some other AI tool, let's just talk in the comments about how they maybe help you, or if you think it's a money grab, for you out of your business's pocket. I personally think tools like this help you, especially if you're like a full-time reseller or you're really invested in reselling, you're really trying to build your business. I think these tools can help you a lot. It can help you grow much faster. If you're a small-time seller, part-time person just getting started, I don't think you probably need to use stuff like this until you really want to grow. I mean, you can, but if you're not making a lot of sales, you have to pay for this stuff, right? So like it's sort of, you have to figure out how far along you are in your reselling business to really know if this type of thing is going to be good for you or not, right? If you're trying to grow fast, have lots of inventory, and listing is taking up all your time, I think this is a great option, like something like FlowLister. If you're just getting started, maybe you want to wait a little bit until you build things up, or maybe you really want to hit the gas pedal and go hard. This would also be good for you. It's obviously a personal thing for everybody, whether you'd want to use something like this or not. But I can tell you for sure, if I'm going to tell you something great about using AI tools like this particular one, Flow Lister, it's definitely saved me already a ton of time and made my daily listing goals much easier, and I'm able to get ahead quicker on a regular basis using these tools. Okay, the only negative I can really say, or like the biggest negative right now I could say about it, is if there's a flaw that isn't visual by eye, it's not going to pick it up. But the fix to that, there's a section in the lister where you can put notes in. So if there's something you want to note about the condition or something that's happening with the item you're trying to list, you put it in the notes and it actually picks it up, and it's totally fine. So it is one extra step that you need to do. It's not the end of the world, but it is something that, you know, I don't know that could be corrected, because you would need, you know, either you basically need to physically touch the item to come up with this, and that's, or to come up with the issue with the item, which is a problem when you're relying on the AI, right? So that's probably my biggest negative. The rest are all positives. And yeah, let's start a comment down below. Let's start a conversation down below is what I'm trying to say. Let me know what you think about AI tools. Top 10 sales of the week. We're going to start with an Eaton's Model A Ford bank. Okay, we got $29.99. This would have came from the NASCAR buy. Next, this was from a garage buyout a long time ago, but I probably still have 50 packs of these. It's a box, of 48 packs of Shred cards. We got $19.99. I've sold so many of those. You've seen tons of those selling the channel. A yellow Blue Jays hat. I think this is from like a stadium giveaway from like a Caribbean night or something like that from the Rogers Center. Picked this up at a Salvation Army for a couple bucks, and we wound up getting $25 on this hat. Texaco salt and pepper shakers, also from the NASCAR buy. We're getting $23.74 on these. PlayStation Network adapter. This is for PS2. This would have came from the Scott video game buy. We're getting $45 here on that. Also from the Scott buy, another video game item. This is parts only. Does not work. There's a lot of issues with this, and I still got $45 for parts and repair on this old Game Boy. Hoobastank concert t-shirt. I would have bought this from my Goodwill Bins buddy. I've had it for a long time. When t-shirts, vintage shirts were hot, like even like Y2K-ish, I listed it high and it never sold. We wound up eventually getting $40 and I believe 50 cents for this t-shirt. So on this next one, I'm going to give you a good Bolo brand. Now, I bought this off of Poshmark. So this is actually my personal item, but this is an item you can search for in the thrift store. I bought this off of Poshmark right here in November of 2024 for $40. Okay, I've now enjoyed it all the way up until Christmas of last year, and then I decided to just sell it recently. I've lost from December to now. I've lost some weight, and this shirt is just too big for me now. So I decided, hey, I might as well resell this because it's a great brand. I don't find it a lot in thrift stores, but when you do, it's worth good money and it sells. So I was able to sell this Dixon green plaid button up for about $50. Not about, exactly $50 in about a day and a half. I probably could have got a little bit more, but I basically got my money back for it. But if you can find this brand out in the wild, definitely pick it up. I think I bought another around the same time. I bought an orange one, which I've also listed. The orange one is Salem, I believe is what it's called, and it'll take a little bit longer to sell. So I think it's probably going to be a fall or maybe even Halloween type shirt. I bought it to wear in fall and Halloween personally. I think I had the orange one a little bit longer as well. But Dixon is a great brand. Like I said, I didn't find this in a thrift store, but I do want to share the brand with you because if you can find it in a thrift store or at a yard sale or cheap, pick it up because they sell fast and for good money. The next thing we're going to talk about here is a 4-piece Wii Motion Plus. So when you have a Nintendo Wii, the controller, you can get two different types. You can get the original controller that did not have the Motion Plus. It's needed for some games, or you can get the controllers that have Motion Plus built into them. So if you don't have it, you have to buy these little things that plug into the bottom of them. And then you can get like a silicone case that goes over all of it, or you can just have the thing hanging out the bottom. Well, I got a whole bunch of these from the Scott buy, and I've decided to lot them up. They're worth enough money individually, but the shipping is what kills the sale. But I was able to lot 4 of them up and get $50 without too much trouble. I think I have another 4 that I have listed. I think I have a couple more listed individually. So they do sell. So if you can find those little things, lot them up, and you can sell them in lots of 4 for about $50 pretty easily. You could probably ask a little bit more if you wanted to, but for a quick sale, that seemed to do the trick for me. Last thing, Dale Earnhardt Senior TV tray. I had no idea what to list these at, as the only ones I could find online when I got these from the NASCAR buy were listed super high. So I listed mine close to $200 each. I think I still have some in the $200 range. I wound up selling this one on Poshmark for $130. I still think that's really good. I think technically, now I'm just full disclosure here, I think technically I probably broke Poshmark rules by shipping this out. I did pay up for the 5 kilogram rate, but the box itself was bigger than it should have been probably to go out on Poshmark. I kind of made it flat, and I took like, I should have took some pictures. I took some like poly bags, cut them some large ones and put it over top. So everything looked nice, but I think this was oversized. It still got there without issues. I don't really suggest doing that. I have sold a few oversized things like VCRs and stuff on Poshmark and never had an issue, but it's not really intended for that. I think the maximum weight is like 5 kilograms. So you have to kind of be a little bit careful there. But I just wanted to let you guys know so you don't buy these big bulky items and try to sell them on Poshmark. I think it's probably technically a no-no, but I did do that. And we did get the sale for $130. I probably should drop down the price of the rest of my TV trays as well. As I think I probably have them listed too high. They are a very unique item, and they are it was even kind of a pain to ship this too, but through Poshmark it didn't cost me a ton of extra money, so it's probably an ideal place to sell, even though I think, like I said, it's probably technically a little bit too big to sell in there, but I didn't have any problems. But yeah, that's 10 things that sold for me recently. Fail of the week. Now this one started off good. I sold a PS4 from the video game buy from Scott, and I was very happy because I cleaned it up, listed it, sold within a day for full price. Bad part though, I charge $15 shipping flat rate on a lot of items similar to this. It sold to none of it. If you've never sold anything to way up there, Yukon, none of it, any of that stuff, any places way up there up north, it's crazy expensive. Like through eBay, I think eBay wanted to charge me $75. The options didn't get better on Stallion Express. Plus, they don't really have a lot of delivery options, and there's issues with addresses up there. So basically all my profit on this, not all of it, but most of it would have got eaten up if I would have had to do that. So that's a huge fail. You know, that's one of the problems when you do flat rate shippings. If somebody buys something in a place that's really remote, you're probably going to have to eat it. I'm going to let you know I saved face a little bit here. I wound up buying a Canada Post flat rate large box for $32. Once again, I charged $15. So I'm paying the extra out of my own pocket, but much better than paying like $75, $80 to ship it. So I had to pay $32, a buyer paid $15. So I'm in it quite a bit, but I'm still making lots of money off of it as it sold for full price. And it was a really good sale. So is it a fail? Yes. Did I save face a little bit with the Canada Post flat rate boxes? I think so. Yeah, that kind of stuff happens when you're dealing with flat rates on eBay. So I was out door dashing. Yes, I'm still door dashing, believe it or not. And I hit a thrift store. Actually, the DoorDash thing's kind of interesting. I think I started end of April, like the last week of April, started door dashing. And I've just been putting the money away. I haven't really touched it. I think I've got like $1,200 in my bank account. And this is just from doing it, a couple of times a week for a few hours at a time. It's okay. Is it life-changing money? No, but it's great money for when we go to ball games, for food, drinks, hotels. But like I said, I haven't really even dipped into it yet and spent any of the money. I think we have another trip coming up, like a weekend kind of 3-day trip. We're going to go to Cincinnati, to Great American Ballpark, not to see the Jays, just to see the ballpark really. We'll talk about that, soon. But what we're trying to get at here is we had a find of the week. Now this find is kind of interesting because I don't really know this brand and I can't even find a sold for it, but I do believe this is a good item. I paid $10 for this. It is a Hood's Lamb tweed jacket. It's tweed and cotton blend, okay? New tags $10. Now I couldn't find this exact jacket exactly, but I could find similar jackets that were listed around $90 to $100, something like that. This one's brand new with tags. You can just feel it's high quality and heavy. The size is not great. It's size small, and I think this might take a little while to sell, but I'm gonna list this one high. I hadn't been in the thrift store very often this week, so I don't have a lot to show you. I think I picked up a pair of Brooks Ghosts 17s or something like that at the thrift store as well this week, but it's just a couple items, but I think this is the best one. Been spending a lot of time, obviously, doing the garage sale thing. I'm still going through the video game buy, so a lot less time in the thrift store, but I do think this is a pretty interesting one. Stick around on the channel. Let's see how long it takes for this to actually sell, or see if it actually does sell. And I do think this will sell for good money, but I guess we will see. If you have been enjoying the garage sale content on this channel, good news, this Monday will be another garage sale video. I'm going to try to get out as many weekends as I possibly can between now and the end of the season to have, you know, consistent garage sale content on the channel. I've been trying to do that now. I think this is maybe, I don't know if this is the third year in a row that I've been trying to do garage sale content just in the season, basically. It's third or fourth. I don't remember, but regardless, it's been a while. We've been doing it for a while. There are a few weekends. This upcoming weekend, I have limited time. We're doing an event Saturday for our Spa Tranquility. The downtown of Tillsonburg, the main street, is called Broadway. They shut it down for a vendor event. They have like bouncy castles and stuff for kids and like all kinds of stuff. There's usually like a little petting zoo. There's like a live entertainment thing and food all over the place. So it's a fun kind of downtown event, but it's a good opportunity for us as well as business owners to get out there and represent our business. Last year we gave away ice cream and they did like colored hair extensions for kids. This year we're giving away a bunch of sample products. We have some candy we bagged up to give away, and we're giving away a pair of Blue Jays tickets. I imagine you guys know where those came from. Yeah, that's a pair of our season tickets we're giving away to some lucky winner at Turtle Fest. So that's kind of cool. Yeah, I don't know, like what else? Oh, I guess I could tell you guys last weekend, speaking of Blue Jays games, last weekend we went to see the Jays and the Yankees, which was a lot of fun. On the side note, though, my wife happened to see, we both follow Rizzo from Survivor, okay? He's 49 and 50, so the last two seasons of Survivor, Rizzo was on there, super young kid from New York, and she had seen through his Instagram, and I think his girlfriend's Instagram, she follows both. I just follow, I think, him, that they were in Toronto at the Yankees game. So when we were going Sunday, she had messaged his girlfriend, or just through like, I think maybe like a post or something. I don't think direct message, but just said, hey, are you guys at the Sunday game? And yes. So we happened to see them, or she happened to see them in the crowd. And of course she yells, Rizzo! Right? I'm like, oh my God. I don't love stuff like that, but it was fine because she had been talking about this and she had hoped that we ran into them. So got a picture. I kind of stood back and let her have her moment. She chatted up with him, but super, super nice, friendly guy. Cool to run into him at the ballpark there in Toronto. Yeah, so that was something fun that happened this week. But I think we're probably going to end today's video right here regardless. So we need to thank channel members. Obviously, if you would like to become a channel member, you can go to my YouTube homepage, sign up directly from there. And as always, I appreciate you guys watching regardless. If you like I'm getting ahead of myself. If you like videos like this one, please give it a big thumbs up. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing for more content, and we will see you guys soon.